Hello, good morning everyone. Dr. Bennett and Professor Zwick here, and today we're going to talk to you about the vibration lab. So, what is the objective of this lab? Well, we're going to take a look today at trying to identify if there are any resonant frequencies within some material samples. So we have an aluminium beam sample, a titanium beam sample, and we're also going to run a test with the beam at different orientations to our shaker table, and we'll get into a bit more detail about what the experiment actually involves in a moment. But why is this stuff important? Well, I always give the example about thinking about components that are close to the engines on an aeroplane, for example. So if the aeroplane is sat there in a cruise for hours and hours at a time with the same frequency that's being induced into those components that are close to the engine and the wing, then you need to make sure that those components that are being fed that frequency are not going to fail because of like a fatigue failure, right? Because they are finding those resonant peaks within those components. So this is a very simple test to test whether those components are going to be exposed to a resonant peak. So I'll hand over to Professor Zwick to describe a little bit about the setup here in the lab.
So normally in industry you would have your unit under test, your sensitive component that you're going to have in the airplane, and you would mount it to this table, and this is a shaker table. In this case today we're going to use a very simple component, an aluminum beam, instrumented with accelerometers. Now this shaker table will move back and forth in this direction at a range of frequencies from 5 Hertz up to 2000 Hertz. And it will all be driven by this electromagnetic driver. It's basically like a large speaker, except instead of driving a paper cone, you're driving a steel plate. So this electromagnetic driver gets its power from an amplifier. This amplifier behind me feeds the electromagnetic driver a signal that actually comes from the control computer over here. Now the control computer feeds the signals in, and it also takes data from the accelerometers on the beam. We have one accelerometer on the table here. We've got an orange wire coming off of it, and that is channel 1. That is the control accelerometer, and we're using that accelerometer to control the input vibration to the shaker table. The accelerometer is mounted here on the beam, and these locations are used to measure vibration in the direction perpendicular to the surface that they are mounted on. So this accelerometer right here is going to pick up acceleration in this direction. The one in the middle will pick up the same, but in a different spot on the beam. And then we have another one mounted transversely to the vibration direction. It will pick up vibration transverse to the direction of input. So that's about all we have for the setup today. And we're going to break here, and we're going to get started with the experiment.